Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brad, and today we're going to talk about IYRI and what is their projected yield. If that is what you're interested in, stay tuned. So NEOS came out with a brand new fund on REITs. Gotta love those NEOS guys. I am a big fan of NEOS. Full disclosure, this is not financial advice, legal advice, or any other advice. This is just Brad and what he is thinking. And I am always looking for a real estate ETF that meets my yield requirements. That's right, I live off of 8%. I've been retired now for a full 6 months. Yes, so I have no other income and I live off of 8%. And I wanted some kind of REITs, but I can't find a REIT that is reasonable for my expectations. I'm sorry. You can say, oh, there's O and there's this, and you can trade options and you can do this. Okay, I could do all that, but you know what? I wouldn't be able to make any videos for anybody or answer any of the emails or answer any of the comments because I'm doing all that all day long. I don't want that. And if I go on vacation, I don't want to sit there and have to worry about anything. I want somebody else to manage it for me. So NEOS comes out with this new fund. And it's interesting because IYR is actually from iShares. That's right, iShares. IYR is from iShares. It's a US real estate ETF. Yes. We can go back and we can look at the track record of the NAV, and you can see how that tracks out over the years. Very good. At least now we have some type of reasonable expectations of how things could or could not work for you, because you can track IYR and figure stuff out. Now, IYR has a yield of 2.62. That does not make my 8%. That's why I don't do REITs. They just don't make my 8% rule. So one thing that NEOS does, and this is very important for everybody to understand, they sell cover calls. Yes, they do. They sell cover calls. They've been doing it for SPY and all the rest of them. So here they're going to do cover calls on IYR. Yes, and they wrote it on 77% of the portfolio. At least that is what I calculated from when I downloaded it today and said, okay, here they are. They have the same holdings of IYR. They rate calls on 77% of the portfolio. They do the staggered calls just like they normally do on SPY. And let's take a quick look at that. Bringing up the chart, that's exactly what they did. They did 2 calls. It's out until February 21st, and that is their calls. They do the staggers just like any of their other calls. And this is actually IYR on the index, so you can see where those calls are for February 21st. So the question becomes, what yield is this? Because everybody is always wondering, how much is this going to pay me? So Brad sat down and said, okay, I made $10,000 from the calls, 10,209. There's 20,001 share outstanding. That's 51 cents per share at a cost of 50 shares. That's an annual rate of 12%, plus the revenue of the REITs. That's right, add the revenue of the REITs back on. So are we looking at something 12-ish to 14-ish? Maybe. I would highly suspect this is going to be somewhere between 11 and 15%. As a guess. Right now, what they sold, it's 12, but figure out how it goes in the future and see what they do, because that's an interesting concept. Because if they can get anywhere from the 11 to the 15, preferably that 12 to 14 range, I might be a buyer, because I don't own REITs for that reason. And I don't do the closed-end funds because they just give you your money back sometimes, and then you have REITs offerings and everything else. You have problems with closed-end funds. And that's just my personal opinion on closed-end funds, because some people love them, think they're the best thing ever, and can only retire on closed-end funds. And you know what? Some people do. I mean, the author of this book says only closed-end funds. Forget about ETFs. So there is always room out there for everybody in the marketplace. I think it's a good fund. Their management fee is the 0.68, like normal or normal-ish for NEOS. So it's a reasonable fee. It is slightly higher than the iShares fee, but they've got the same underlyings. They own the underlyings, and they're writing the calls on IYR. Should be on your radar. Not saying I'm buying, just gonna let this one ride out for the next 3 to 4 months. Maybe 2, maybe even 1. Who knows? If they pay me my 12% and the first distribution's 12%, I know what they're doing. I see what they're doing. I am looking for that REIT. That might become into my alternatives, because I'd love to have another alternative to build out, because I need to spread out some of the love. And again, I like NEOS. So hopefully that brings you what this fund is and how it's working and what they're doing. Brand new fund, started trading, should be on your radar. Until next time, God bless.